Hey guys, so it's the final episode 4. We're going to be talking about senioritis. Senioritis, most people think of it just as when, you get your acceptances, or maybe you finished getting all the grades that you wanted, and you kind of don't have any motivation to try anymore, right? Yeah. Show of hands, who here has senioritis? So as you can see, a lot of people on this podcast have senioritis, actually myself included. It's getting pretty late in the year, and so we just thought it'd be a good time to touch up on this topic for, talk about our own experiences, maybe give some advice or some thoughts we have on the topic, and who would like to begin?
Yeah, I can start. So I'd first like to mention that senioritis, I'd say it hits IB students even harder because school for us ends considerably earlier than the Ontario students. For example, right now we're done all our coursework, our IB courses, and we're just preparing for the exam. And a lot of students aren't really putting that much effort into the exam because at the end of the day, it won't really affect their final grades that much. But for me, I'd say senioritis started even way earlier than April, maybe even in February when I got my first one of my top choices for university. I wouldn't say it was a complete I just gave up on school, but it gave me that sense of comfort or safety, which allowed me to kind of relax and spend more time on some hobbies sports or video games. But I wouldn't say that I completely gave up on school back then. Now maybe it's a different story. So that's kind of just a bit of my experience, but I can expand on later. But first, I'd like to pass it to someone else to speak.
Right. I feel like what Owen covered is very realistic, and it's obviously something that happens to the best of us. So personally, I also started experiencing senioritis around the same time, a bit later. And to me, senioritis was mainly just the lack of motivation to really participate in class. Usually I would, I would respond to questions that the teacher asked. I would put myself out there. But after receiving some conditional offers from schools that I wanted to go to, I found myself being much less participating and much less putting myself out there in terms of school. I wanted to spend a lot more time doing the things that I like, and it just maybe ended up getting in the way of my my marks. Although it wasn't a considerable drop, because very soon I also realized that it's not over yet and that I still need to lock in. So I feel like senioritis, although it affects different people differently, some people will find themselves just gradually and continuously losing motivation, while others will find it a momentary loss of motivation, but then will pick back up and continue with their school and prioritizing their marks. So what about you, Nelson?
Yeah. I think senioritis, you're a lot more relaxed, and
What the hell? Oh my god!
This guy closed his camera.
Cut out.
Okay, but then you need to cut off. Okay, now Nelson starts again. Nelson starts over.
This Owen guy, bro. This Owen guy. Can't do nothing with.
Bro.
A minute ago, Lucas just closed his camera. I actually just couldn't.
Dude, I can't see either of you guys smile. As soon as you start smiling, it's actually devious. I have to have my full screen sharing it so that my recording can see it, bro.
Whatever. Just continue.
Whatever.
We'll just cut that for now.
Yeah, thanks, Kenyon. So actually, like to expand a bit more on like what Owen said, I think a lot of it is like very true. Where senioritis is like a really sort of like a time where you're a lot more relaxed, and you sort of, even though maybe like you're a bit less focused or like locked in towards school, that does mean you're given like more time into other aspects of your life, and whether that's like a time to maybe like explore like some other like interests or like hobbies that you have, such as like video games. I think a really good part of like senioritis is actually like exploring like the hobbies or like such as like exercising or like doing whatever projects that you would have wanted to do.
I bought a property in Egypt, and what they do for you is they give you the property.
Whatever projects that you would have wanted to do that you couldn't have done because of like schoolwork earlier in the year. It really is like a time that you usually don't have once you go to like university or throughout your high school, to really just maybe like focus a bit more on yourself and other aspects that, yeah, to maybe like better yourself and other sorts. But yeah, what about you, Kanyan? I know you spent a lot of time on League of Legends. Why don't you tell us about your experience on that?
Right. I feel like what Nelson said is true. Senioritis is definitely not something that is guaranteed to be bad, right? Some people can take it positively, such as Nelson, who spent a lot of his time doing personal projects and grinding out computer science, which is very, very inspirational.
Off-stream grind.
Yeah, the off-stream grind.
Hey, you did 40 Git reposits in the past 2 days.
Right. Everybody here has their own passions and their own grind, and it's very impressive. But me, as Nelson mentioned, I happen to be using my extra time doing a little bit of a little bit of indulging in a little bit of video games. Actually, maybe a bit more than just a little bit, maybe a lot of video games. And that happens to be maybe not the best course of action, but different people, different things, right? The different perspectives. And I feel like even though I spent a lot of time doing my playing video games, it's still something that I enjoyed. And although I do have some regrets, it's not totally regretful, as I did have a great time. So just know that senioritis has both ups and downs. It affects different people differently. And yeah, what about you, Lucas? What are your experiences with senioritis?
Yeah, all right. I think for me, it's a bit different. I think a lot of you guys, you already covered like a lot of good points on senioritis. It might make you feel like less motivation to work, right? I think an opposite struggle is sort of just a struggle to accept senioritis. Especially, as IB students, like you're sort of fostered in this competitive environment to keep on doing your work, keep on trying your best the entire time, right? So at some point you have to decide that enough is enough, and that maybe you should spend some time doing your other passions, like Nelson said, like coding or playing League of Legends like Kuyan. It's not always the best to just keep on working so hard and effortlessly, because eventually you'll burn yourself out, right? So I think it's like two sides of the same coin. You don't want to be too relaxed, but you also don't want to spend all of your time and never like accept that you can relax. So following this, I guess, do you guys have any tips for dealing with senioritis? Either side.
Right. I think that's a very good transition into our next section, which is managing senioritis, and what are some tips and tricks that students can use when they're dealing with this senioritis. So I guess I can start us off with just some very basic tips. So that worked for me, right? So as Nelson mentioned, I found myself playing a lot of video games when I first started feeling senioritis. I was probably spending like right as I got home, I'd maybe play like 3-4 games of League of Legends instead of doing any schoolwork. And I soon found out that this is definitely not healthy, right? Like Lucas said, you need to have a healthy balance. And the way I dealt with this was that during the school year, I had this to-do list where I would write down the things that I need to do. And when senioritis hit, I kind of abandoned it, right? So I realized that what kept me going during the school year was a set routine. I had this thing that I followed, I did, and I realized that I needed to bring this back in order to deal with my senioritis. Just because I have this conditional offer right now, if I let myself become too relaxed, I might actually end up losing it. So I brought back my old habits and I brought back the to-do list so that I can sort of merge back into what the mindset that I used to have slowly but surely, and that helped me deal with my senioritis. Obviously, it's impossible to fully remove it once it's here because the truth is, you do have this offer, and it is like a safe thing that makes you feel more comfortable. But that being the case, I still tried my best to bring back my old habits to make myself feel more motivated and less relaxed.
Yeah, so I think I can build on to that part. What Kunyan said about maintaining your old habits, yeah, that really helped me as well. But another thing is maybe starting new habits. So yeah, as Lucas mentioned, as IB students, we're kind of conditioned, always be studying, always be doing work. And now that, there's there's a lot less work, I kind of felt like I was a bit empty, I don't know what to do. So something that helped me was, just starting something new, trying to find some new hobbies or interests, or even I started tutoring a guy, and I found it really enriching, and you can make a bit of money on the side. But another hobby I started is reading books, specifically audiobooks. It helps me feel a bit more productive instead of just playing League of Legends for 3 to 4 hours in a row. And also, you can learn about new topics through reading. So I think that's a really good way to sort of deal with the, that slump of unproductivity that comes with senioritis. So yeah, does anyone want to add?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Me too, I guess. I think that doing something productive is definitely the best way to get over senioritis. So similar to Nelson, I've recently been doing a lot of like coding projects and stuff because that's what I enjoy out of school. It's also something productive because that's actually probably what I'm going to major in, something related to coding, something like that. So yeah, I've just been doing small projects and things that I enjoy. So it's not like I'm completely just like bed rotting or playing League of Legends 12 hours a day. But at the same time, it's also not like I'm feeling forced to do anything. It's because of it's out of my own volition. It's what I enjoy doing. Actually, the audiobooks and stuff sound pretty interesting, so I might pick it up. Thanks for mentioning it, Owen. But yeah, do you want to say anything, Nelson?
No, I don't have much more to add. If anyone else doesn't have much, I think it's wraps.
Yeah, I feel like to end us off, I'll say a quote by a very famous person. The lion never stands still. The lion never stays still. He's always doing something. He's always active. And I feel like this quote by Mr. Hollock really inspired me and told me to keep on working and keep on finding new passions, right? If you ever find yourself being too relaxed with nothing to do, find something new. Find a new hobby, whether it's working out, whether it's reading, whether even if it's just attaining a new rank in League of Legends, right? Just find something that really motivates you and find something that you feel is good for your life and leads you to a higher state, then do that. And the senioritis is going to be there no matter how you try to avoid it, how much you try to avoid it. It's always going to be there. So I don't think you should try to fight against it, and instead you should use it to make yourself better, use it appropriately. And yeah, that concludes our final episode of Senioritis, and I thank you guys all for tuning in. And yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share. If you do want to see more episodes, we can come back. Just you gotta let us know in the comments below. And yeah, thanks.
Yeah, we'll see you guys in.
Man,
we'll see you.
It's been a ride, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's been many months.
Yeah, many months.
And, yeah.